Randy, in my living room, I have a recliner, like, I don't know, leather thingy.
Okay.
It is sunk. It's really sunk. And I think the reason why it's sunk is because I sat on that thing all weekend long watching basketball.
Oh man. It's got your imprint in it, I guess. Is that it's like Archie Bunker's chair, maybe, it sits in there just right. Yeah, it was quite a weekend.
I'm not going to tell you any outcomes from the games because I know daggone well that there's a few games that you said you wanted to watch, so I'm not that you didn't get to. So.
We're not going to go there. Hey, folks, Randy Wooden and this fellow over here, Teddy Burriss, we get together a couple of times a week and talk about business and job hunting, that kind of a thing. Today's our Monday show, so just as a real quick, Randy Wooden with Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina. Teddy, I don't know if you've heard this before. I run our professional center, by the way, but I know if you've heard this before. I
heard about that. Yeah.
But there's an old saying, at least in Goodwill circles, and I've heard this from other organizations too, that when people say, you know what, when you've seen one Goodwill, you've seen one Goodwill. Because they're all different. To the general public, Goodwill's Goodwill. It's like McDonald's. You go in, you get a hamburger in Detroit and Sacramento, and it's hopefully the same thing. But we do differ, and our is Goodwill Industries Northwest North Carolina. The idea here is that we can put together programs to address our local community's needs. And about 10 years ago, they hired me to start our professional center. So if you're watching, you or maybe you know somebody that's in a job search and a professional, connect with me on LinkedIn and we'll get the process started. It's free and happy to help. But yeah, every Monday we get together for about 10, 15 minutes, talk about some tips and stories and all kinds of stuff. But first, Teddy Burriss.
Yeah. So, hey, Randy, it's pouring down, raining out there all last week, and it's a nicer week this week. So I got to get outside. So let's we'll wrap this up in the next 10 or 15 minutes. But hey, for those who have not met me, I'm a LinkedIn strategist. I'm also a Google Workspace trainer, coach, and strategist, teaching people LinkedIn and Google Workspace's business tools. Absolutely love doing this work. I get into some really cool conversations. I'm going to tell you a conversation in a few minutes as well, Randy. But if anybody's looking to get more value out of LinkedIn or using Google Workspace for business, hunt me down. Let's have a chat. So, hey, do you have some trivia that you collected, man?
I'm a trivial guy. You know that. Of course, I have trivia. I had 3 birthdays, and one of them's a trivia question for you or others that might be watching. So just so you know, Reba McEntire, born on this date in 1955, and actor Vince Vaughn, I think born in 1970. I'm not entirely sure about that. But here's the trivia question.
Okay.
This person was born on this date, the 28th. Her real name is Stephanie Germanata. Stephanie Germanata. I guess that's how it's pronounced. I've never heard it pronounced.
Hey, Randy, ever. I dated a girl named Stephanie that had a German car.
Is that close?
Maybe. What's her real? What's she go by now?
Did she bug you with her Volkswagen? Just curious. Anyway, sorry. It's a Monday, right? So now, Lady Gaga, 1986. She was born.
That wasn't her.
No. So anyway, there you go. One thing happened. A lot of things happened on this date in history, the 28th. But one thing that I certainly remember, and it's not for good, it's 3 Mile Island. Remember back in 1979? Yeah, I think it's in Pennsylvania. 3 Mile Island nuclear facility had a radioactive leak, and there was a lot of concern. Obviously, health and the environment and so forth. And I think as a result, it really put a damper on any future nuclear facilities being licensed. I don't think there has been anything licensed for development since then. And you can argue good or bad, but point is, the radioactive leak happened, and it was on this date in 1979.
Yeah. So in 1979, Randy,
yes.
I was in Dickerson, Maryland, working at Neutron Products, which is a cobalt-60 radiation facility. So I was very aware of what was going on at 3 Mile Island. Our people, some of our people went up there to be a part of that.
Wow.
Yeah, I can relate to it.
That's some serious business. So, all right, we will move into our Well, I guess going to move into a story. I got a quick story for you.
You better have a story, man.
I kind of do. And last week was my first week back on Fox 8 in person, in studio.
Yeah.
I had to get my hair done, especially for it that day, but
yeah.
I did. And it was just fun to go back. And I'd like to think that they enjoyed me coming back in, but I'll leave that up to them. Point is, time flies, and 2 years kind of zip by pretty quickly. Been doing a lot of phone segments every month, but gosh, it's 17, 18 years now. So over 200 shows, over 200 segments on Fox 8 over the years. So, and again, I look back on it, I'll always remember that first time. The thought was, okay, you're on one time and who knows the future. And I know you've done that with FMY where you've been back many times, but there's never a guarantee that they'll bring you back. So you got to produce value, I guess is my point. You have to be reasonably coherent. So I've been working on that. Hopefully one day I'll get it figured out. So that's my story. Steady, what you got?
Yeah, man. Anybody who's not seen Randy on his Fox 8 shows, go look at Fox 8 and hunt them down. They're not all out there on the web.
No, unfortunately. No, yeah. I got a bunch of them though. And if you're curious, I can always provide a link to our professional centers channel. And there's some other ones there too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Randy, here's my story. A friend of mine called me up yesterday, and she says, Teddy, I want to start this new industry. I want to get into learning and development, which is called L&D. And there's lots of spaces about learning, lots of different areas about learning and development, talent development you can be a part of. She says, but I can't afford to go back to school and get a degree in L&D. But I know I need to learn to be a better learning and development person. And she says, what do you suggest? And I thought for a minute, and then I came up with two ideas. And one is to hang out with people who do that. Hang out with people who play in the sandbox, the toys you want to play with. That's the best way to learn, is to hang out with those people. Here's the other one. Randy, have you ever heard of MOOC?
Vaguely, but I haven't not investigated it. So I'm kind of curious to learn a little bit more. I have heard that kind of acronym before, but
MOOC, MOOC. MOOC stands for Massive Online, massive. Oh, I'm saying the word wrong again, Randy. Hang on, I'm gonna get it. Massive Open Online Courses. Okay. Massive Open Online Courses means free. And there's actually a website, mooc.org, O-R-G. Years ago, I took a MOOC course from, I believe it was the University of Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. It was a Northeastern school. I took a change management course. It was an 8-week course. I mean, there was lessons, there were videos, there were, tests to take and quizzes, and it was all free. And I'm going to tell you, from all the studying I've done, that MOOC course was one of the most impactful to me. So, really? And
it was free.
It was free. I mean, these were smart people who are sharing their time to teach these free courses. So she went and looked at that, and it blew her away. She was like, oh my golly. She says, no more TV or Netflix for me. She says, I'm on mooc.org from now on out. And it can change your life, and you can grow by taking these free courses. So my story is also kind of a tip. Go check out mooc.org. I can promise you'll find something on there that can help you grow and maybe enjoy life from something new.
And that's MOOC, right?
Yep. .org. So
got it. Katherine Perry is our guest coming up on March 30th, the final show for this month. Katherine is our executive director of Leadership Winston-Salem. Of course, I've bailed on you several times over the months because I am part of this year's class, Leadership Winston-Salem. Now they're in their recruitment phase for next year's class, the greatest class ever. And Katherine is the executive director for leadership. So she'll stop by to talk about community engagement, kind of dovetail with what Cindy Gordonier with the United Way talked about a couple of weeks ago. So she'll be in to talk that, how it benefits job seekers, if you're an employee, how it benefits employers, and just the community in general. Yeah. And if you're interested in leadership and learning more about it, then it's a great opportunity to join in the conversation, because if she can't answer the question, they're in a world of hurt. So let me just say, she's great. She's great to work with. And again, she's been on about a year or so ago with kind of the same topic, but welcome her back. So that'll be good. Teddy, what you got for a tip? By the way, she'll be on Wednesday the 30th. That's at 11:55 Eastern time.
Yep.
So
yeah,
join the conversation.
I'll make sure the registration link's in the video. I'll make sure it's in all the other stuff you can get a hold of. Hey, Randy, here's my tip. Never turn down a conversation just because the other person is struggling. Think about it, man. People will reach out to you and they're not sure how to start a conversation. Maybe they fumble at it. Maybe they sort of sound like they're selling to you and you're like, oh man, I want to ignore this person. But don't be so quick to ignore or turn down a conversation just because the other person is struggling. I had a guy that reached out to me and I thought for sure he wanted to sell me. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I don't need to buy a burial plot today. That's not what he was selling. And but I said, you know what? Let me say hi to him anyway. So I said hello to him anyway. And I said, I don't need a burial plot. That isn't what he was selling. And I said, hey, if I can help you in any way, let's talk. And Randy, the conversation turned. He needs my help. He doesn't know how to start a conversation on LinkedIn. He doesn't know how to present himself on LinkedIn. And he said, I need your help, Teddy. So it turned. It became something that was mutually beneficial. So don't turn down a conversation so quick just because the other person is struggling to start a conversation. That's my tip.
You know, that kind of reminds me a bit of I guess, what I deal with at Goodwill. I get not the volume of invites that you get, I'm sure, but I get my fair share of them, believe me. Most of them do not have any accompanying text. So they're generic requests. They don't tell me why they want to connect, how I can help them or anything. And so I go to their page and I look, and so unless it's really sketch, I mean, and you've seen some profiles that are pretty sketch.
I can tell you about Tammy. You want me to tell you? No, we won't talk about Tammy. Go ahead, buddy.
But anyway, so if they look reasonably legit, especially if they're local, then I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll connect with them. And then I send a request or a message back. This is essentially, hey, how can I help you? I'll invite you to join our Professional Centers LinkedIn group, but please let me know what I can do to help you. And yeah, occasionally I'll get the, okay, thanks, or, oh, nothing right now. And then I'm kind of going, really? But many of them actually pivot and say what they should have said at the outset, which was, you know what, I'm in a job hunt and could you look at my resume? That kind of thing. Now, I wish they would have come up with that right at the outset. Mm-hmm. So they in my mind, they either don't know to do it, don't care to do it, or perhaps in your case, they don't know how to do it. So either they don't know to do it, period, or maybe they do know that they should, they don't know how, or maybe they just don't care.
Yeah.
And I give them the benefit of the doubt because my tracking needs to be a bit different from yours. I don't want them to follow me necessarily. I need them because we want to help them. We have to register them as a client and so forth. It's free, but we have to conduct that process. So, but I see the same thing. And I wonder is this something that they should do, or you just don't know. So I'm glad that you give them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, it could be all of them. Yeah.
They're lazy. They don't know they should do it. They don't know how to do it. There's lots of different reasons, but just as you're saying, don't be so quick on the draw to say no. Yeah.
It's like a lot of things, you and I are sitting here with a lot of knowledge in a certain area. Just like if you walk into the gym and you're a newbie and you walk around and you may be intimidated, don't know how to start a conversation, ask for help so you don't hurt yourself. But wouldn't it be nice if somebody could show you the courtesy and the benefit of the doubt and work with you? Hey, we're going to wrap it up, but remember, Katherine Perry joins us on Wednesday, the 30th. She is the executive director with Leadership Winston-Salem, and we're going to have a fun conversation. I hope you can join in and join along because she's got a lot to offer. So, Teddy, anything else? Anything else before we head on out?
Nobody, no. So, hey,
enjoy your lunch.
I'll see you Wednesday, and maybe on Wednesday I won't wear quite as bright of a shirt.
And I'll try to tone it down a little bit. The glare can be a little off-putting for you. So,
all right, buddy,
you have a great Monday. We'll talk later. All right.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.